Welcome back, guys. In this one, we got Representative Cortez, AOC, ripping into Republicans about this drastic Medicaid bill that they're trying to push through on us to give tax cuts to the rich and wealthy. Let's see what she had to say, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Recognized. The gentlelady from New York is recognized for her 3 minutes and an opening statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. 13.7 million people, 13.7 million Americans will be cut off from their health care and made completely uninsurable by the bill that Republicans are presenting today. You know, there's a lot that I've been hearing, and I've been listening to my Republican counterparts here today and what they've been saying about this bill. And the math is not adding up. They're trying to convince people that they are cutting millions of undocumented people from payroll, from Medicare, acting as though this is what's going to save it. Even if you believe everything that Republicans have said today, they are identifying 1 million, their claim, which I dispute, but if you believe them, their claim is that 1 million undocumented people are on Medicaid. So why are they trying to cut 13.7 million Americans off their health care? By the Republicans' own Energy and Commerce tweet this morning, their claim is 7.6 million people are somehow ineligible for health care. So why are they cutting 13.7 million Americans off their health care? They've asked us to read this bill, and we have. This bill bans the people that they kick off of Medicaid from even buying their own insurance from the Affordable Care Act exchange. So once you are kicked off Medicaid, you then can't even buy your own health insurance. It increases costs for people who they deem eligible and who are low income and forces them to pay even more. And if you have a private insurer, don't worry, you're getting screwed over too, because your healthcare premiums are going to skyrocket from the disaster that is happening from this bill. We've done assessments, because if you live in a rural community, you're going to be hurt too. In New York 23, 25% of people are on Medicaid in this area of upstate New York. Westfield Memorial Hospital will be at risk of closure. UPMC Chautauqua is at risk of closure. Schuyler Hospital at risk of closure. California 23, where 46% of people are on Medicaid. Redlands Community Hospital at risk of closure if this passes. Victor Valley Global Medical Center, Loma Linda University Medical Center, all at risk of closure. Colorado 8, 24% of people in this community are on Medicaid, and Platte Valley Medical Center will be at risk of closure if these cuts pass. Who do you believe? The people who are trying to cut this, not, by the way, to cut from quote unquote undeserving people to give to deserving people, but they are cutting these Medicaid care and these Medicaid dollars to pay for tax cuts for Elon Musk and billionaires. So this money isn't even going towards funding better care for people who are eligible. This money is going, and we are cutting money and health care from people and families who are suffering to pay for tax cuts for the rich. It is a crime happening in front of the American public right now. And I yield back.
For an open statement.
Mr. Chairman, I seek to be recognized.
The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized for his opening statement.
Okay, before I comment on AOC's brilliant takedown of the Republicans and a good explanation of this bill, we're going to take a quick look at some poll numbers that came out from all Americans on this bill that the Republicans are trying to push through on the behalf of the rich, with CNN's Harry Enton. Let's take a look at what the poll numbers are saying about this.
Key House committees worked through the night, we're told, to advance President Trump's, what he calls his big, beautiful bill. The tax writing committee working, we're now told, almost 18 hours to finish their portion of it and to pay for the president's desired cuts. It's called a pay for. House Republicans are pushing forward with big spending cuts proposed to Medicaid. And because of those proposed cuts, which could leave millions without health care, the bill faces an uncertain future among Republicans in the Senate, revealing the touchy politics of Medicaid. CNN's Harry Enton is looking into that for you this morning. And Harry, what do Americans think of these proposed potential cuts to Medicaid we're looking at here?
The politics of this are so bad, it literally blows my mind. That is what the American people think of this. Major spending cuts to Medicaid. Look at this, 76% oppose, just 24% favor major federal spending cuts to Medicaid. To give you an idea of how big this 76% is, in a separate poll I looked at it, George Washington's favorable rating is 78%. Basically, the exact same percentage of Americans who are opposed to major cuts to Medicaid on the federal level. As I said, the politics of this are so extremely bad, it blows my mind, Kate.
That is overall. What about amongst Republicans? Because Republicans are obviously the party in the majority and advancing this need to cut some $880 million from Medicaid.
Okay, so we see this 76% overall. You see it over here. Oppose major spending cuts to Medicaid on the federal level. You get 95% of Democrats opposed, 79% of independents, and you even get a majority of Republicans, 55% oppose major spending cuts to Medicaid. This, simply put, is not popular on any part of the aisle. From the left all the way to the right, the opposition is in the majority. When you get a majority of Republicans, a majority of independents, a majority of Democrats to agree on anything, you know that is where the American public stands, and they stand strongly. And on this particular issue, they stand very strongly opposing major spending cuts to Medicaid. The politics of this, simply put, are atrocious.
Which also explains why, for everyone out there, why reforms to the entitlement programs, why it doesn't happen, because the politics are so tough. And that's why Republicans are calling it, we're reforming the system, we're not cutting the system. Look, the details aren't yet hashed out of exactly what it's going to look like, but the politics are rough nonetheless. Is there data about why Americans feel this way?
Yeah, I think
what drives it?
Exactly right. Do you know somebody, or you yourself ever been on Medicaid or on it currently? And this, I think, basically says it all. Has been or is on Medicaid, me or someone else close to me. Look at this, 62% of Democrats, 62% of Republicans. Medicaid is something that touches people from across the political spectrum, from the left to the right. They're equally felt. A majority of Americans are likely to know somebody who is on Medicaid currently or was on it formerly, either themselves or someone close to them, maybe a close family friend, maybe someone who's a member of their family. And this, I think, drives it all home, which is why cuts to Medicaid are so unpopular. It is because it touches everybody. And when all of a sudden you take the health insurance away, potentially, from somebody you know, you're going to be opposed to it. And that is why 76% of Americans are opposed to major cuts to Medicaid, Kate.
All right. Thank you, Harry. This is a good basis for what is going to be a long discussion, for sure.
There you have the numbers from AOC. You also have the poll numbers from Harry Enton. They speak for themselves. AOC showed you where there could be some closures of hospitals out in rural areas. Most of the overwhelming majority of people from those areas vote Republican. Have those folks from those areas learned yet? They know that their Medicare is about to get cut. Maybe some job losses and some empty shelves in their area. The 2026 midterms are right around the corner. To expect these people to regret their vote for Donald Trump and the Republicans at this point, I don't think is a good idea. We're going to have to wait until the midterms roll around to see if they'll repeat the vote for the people that's trying to take away everything from them. Will they ever notice that the Democrats are the ones that fight for them, fight to put money in their pockets, fight to give them health care, and a whole host of other things that the Democrats have been fighting for over the years? For everyone, not just Democratic constituents. So you saw the poll numbers from Harry Enton. Republicans, Democrats, independents, an overwhelming majority of those polled are against this $880 billion cut to Medicaid. Health insurance is very important to a lot of people. The rest of the industrialized world, those countries have universal health care for their citizens. America is supposedly the richest country on the face of the earth, yet we refuse to come together in this country and get health care for all of our people. When are we, the people, going to ever wake up and realize that the Republican Party in this country is our biggest problem on almost every single issue? So we'll see when the midterms roll around. Have anyone who voted for Donald Trump and the Republicans began to regret their votes? We'll see. But as of right now, across the spectrum, across social media, there's some people that's still saying that they don't regret their vote for these people. Unbelievable. I'm going to leave it right here, guys. We'll pick it up on the next one. Thanks again for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and share this with your friends so it can get around. My voice will be around throughout the midterms and beyond. So I'll be bringing you some more content. That's it for today. Thanks a lot. I'll see you on the next one. I ask you guys to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Thank you.